And another week of fasting. Hey, you've caught me, during one of those weeks. Well, we've been doing that every week. So you didn't catch me. We've just been doing fasting every week. And this week is no exception. I ended a fast of 76 hours last night, right around this time. If you were on the show, you saw as I walked through the process of checking my ketones and looking at my blood sugars and going through my graph, my report. And I've been using, the community has been using fasting as one of those tools to help put our diabetes in remission, to get us off of diabetes medications, to improve our metabolic health, and in fact, to help us reverse our diabetes. One of the questions I get all the time is, how do I get ready for the fast and how do I set myself up for success? And I've spent some time going through that, but tonight I want to spend some time doing a little bit deeper dive in how to prepare for a fast. Kind of a comprehensive guide, if you will. Hey, if you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And in this year, new year, new you. I'm talking to adults with type 2 diabetes who want to put their diabetes in remission, who want to reverse their diabetes. And we have a bunch of tools that we've been learning, that we've been using in this space to do that. If you're new, go ahead and put new in the comments because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. And just let you know how happy we are that you are in this space with us. If you have comments, if you have questions, go ahead and drop those in. With the questions, go ahead and put a Q in front of that so that we know that that's one that we need to get to and answer for you. If you've also been following us, you know that something exciting is about to happen here on the show or here in the space. We are celebrating we're celebrating 4 years on YouTube, and we're doing that with a 24-hour stream that's going to be starting here in just a little while. So if you've not already done so, go ahead and get yourself set up and get yourself ready. That's going to start at midnight, and we're excited for that as well. Also, this past week, we started our third pillar. Remember, there are 3 pillars that we talk about in terms of reversing diabetes: decreasing insulin, suppressing the appetite, and reducing sugar. And we started on the first, we did the first show on that third pillar, that is decreasing or reducing the sugar. So if you've not done so, go back and watch that one. And then, of course, go back before that and watch the ones leading up to this as we dealt with the first 2 pillars in reversing diabetes. As you know how we do it here, we're also going to be taking a look at my meters, which I have off to the side right here. And so we're going to see what those numbers are here in just a minute. And then, of course, right below me is my Dexcom that we'll take a look at. But before we do that, let's hop over and let's do a check-in. And you know, I always like to check in. Now, I ended my fast last night at 76 hours. And so we'll talk about how I was last night and how I'm feeling today. And I do these 3 because this is where most people find that they will have issues, right? Because fasting is not just abstaining from food. It is also a physical, mental, and emotional process. So how am I feeling physically? Right now, I'm actually feeling pretty good. Of course, I've been eating. I ate breakfast this morning. So I ended the fast last night, a little bit after this, so maybe 10 o'clock last night. I had a salad. I had a piece of baked chicken. I had some cheese, and I had a box, one of those small bags of Cheez-Its or Cheez-Its, the little tiny bags, not even the personal size bag. Okay, so that's what I had. This morning, I had some sausage links. For lunch, I had a salad, and then I'm going to show you. I actually have on a plate here next to me what I'm eating here tonight for my supper. So I'm going to share that with you. So you can see what it is. What I've been interested in seeing is what my blood sugars are, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But this time when I broke the fast, I actually felt a little bit more queasy, a little bit more nauseated than I normally do. I don't think I did or ate anything differently than I would normally eat. Perhaps it was a little too late for what I ate, but as I broke the fast, I felt a little bit more queasy. Right now, I'm feeling full of energy. I'm not lightheaded, dizzy. I don't have any palpitations. I'm not feeling weak. So physically, actually doing pretty good. During the fast, yesterday and last night, didn't have any of those symptoms either. Mentally, I'm feeling clear. I am a little anxious right now because the platform that we are using to do our live stream or do our 24-hour stream was having some glitches earlier today. And so that caused a little angst. But other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. During the fast, I was not foggy. I was not feeling dull or sluggish. So right now, actually doing pretty good. And then emotionally, of course, I'm pumped. I'm excited because something great is happening here on the show, on the channel. We're celebrating 4 years, and we're doing something new, which is the 24-hour stream that's going to be starting here in just a little while. So all of that is causing some elation, causing some excitement in me. So emotionally, actually feeling pretty good. All right. So let's hop over and let's take a look at blood sugars. And for blood sugars, this one is actually very important or very interesting to me because this is what my Libre is saying right now. So 104, and you'll see for most of the day, the Libre has been, 120s, 130s, and then this afternoon started coming down, and now 104. My Dexcom, on the other hand, I did not want to show you that yet, but that's okay. My Dexcom, on the other hand, showed a big spike there during the day, and then now it's starting to come down. So what I'm interested in seeing is what my Keto Mojo and my Contour meters are saying in comparison. So I did not have these at work today, so I didn't check it, and I didn't check it with any of the stuff we had at work either. But as you know, I have a contour meter, which will give me, of course, the blood sugar. And then I have a Keto Mojo, which gives me both blood sugar and also give me ketones. So let's go ahead and let's hop over and let's go ahead and get a strip. And we'll start putting that in to the contour. And we'll check to see what those are. Okay. If you're out there as we're doing this, let's go ahead and if you think you know what my ketones are going to be, all right? So once again, ended the fast last night, and I kind of explained to you what I ate during the day. What do you think my ketones are going to be? And so we're going to start here with the strip for blood sugar. I've got a Lancet. It is one of those spring-loaded ones. Let's go ahead and take the top off. And then let's do this view, and I'm going to use a different finger because my other finger that I use all the time is probably a little callous, and sometimes I don't get a good drop of blood. And so you should have heard that. And let's see if we got a good drop here. Let's see. Yes, looks like we did. Okay, let's go ahead and get that on. And a drop for the contour. Okay. All right. So 124 is what the contour is saying. Not the contour, but the Keto Mojo. And 122 is what the contour is saying. And then the Libre was saying 104, which is the lowest. And then, of course, the Dexcom is saying 138. So it looks like the Dexcom has been more accurate today. If I'm to believe what these guys are saying, the Dexcom is probably more accurate because we're closer to that number than we are to the Libre. Okay, so let's go ahead also and let's get this strip out because we want to get a strip in for the ketone. All right, let's get a drop of blood there, and we'll get that on. Okay, so once again, go ahead and put in what you think it is. And of course, as I always do, I'm going to tease you guys because I'm not going to show you what it turns out to be until later. I know, I'm so bad. All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump into our conversation, right? So preparing for a fast. Um, as I mentioned, fasting is the voluntary abstention from eating. Voluntary abstention from eating. It's not starving, right? Because starvation is not voluntary, but this is. And so we want to go ahead and we're going to talk about several things as we move through the preparing for the fast stage. And really, this is our list. Okay, so how to prepare for a fast. And the first thing you want to do is you want to understand your fasting goals. You want to understand your fasting goals. What does that mean? Before you begin, before you begin to fast, it's important that you define what the goals are for fasting. In this space, we've been doing fasting and we're using fasting as a tool for putting our diabetes in remission. But as I've mentioned before, not only does fasting help with this disease, but it also helps with lots of other metabolic diseases, right? So if you are diabetic and you are working with us to put your diabetes in remission, then the goal is remission of diabetes. There are shorter, smaller, more compact goals that you may have initially. So the goal may be, hey, my A1C is 10. I want to decrease my A1C to 8 or 9 by the next time my A1C is checked. I want to have my fasting blood sugars lower by 10 points or lower by 20 points or 30 points or whatever the number is. But the goal is something that you've got to define. If you have a weight goal, right? Because remember, all of those are metabolic diseases, and because diabetes is the prototypic disease, then fasting will work for those as well. So if you have a weight goal, then what is the weight goal, right? We did a show several weeks ago on setting SMART goals, right? So SMART goals. And you want to go back and you want to take a look at that. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to understand what our fasting goals are, right? So key considerations there are there health goals, right? Are you looking to improve, your metabolic health? Are you looking to improve inflammation? Are you looking to enhance mental clarity, which are all things that can happen with fasting, right? Do you have a weight goal, right? Are you aiming to get to a particular size? Are you aiming to get to a particular BMI? Are you aiming to get to a particular percent body fat, right? So all of those are things that you can do with fasting. So number one, you want to know what your goals are. You want to be able to establish what those goals are. Number two, we want you to choose the right fasting method. Choose the right fasting method. We've spent some time over the last several weeks talking about various methods for fasting. Each has a different schedule. Each has a different way of doing it. So whether you're doing a 16 or 8 or 16-8 or a 5-2 or 1 meal a day or alternate day fasting or extended fasting as we've been doing here once a week, what is the fasting method that you're going to use, and is it right for you? What does it mean, is it right? They all give benefit, but if you have some significant metabolic disease issues, you may need to do a more extended or deeper or a heavier fast. Okay, if you have other medical issues, right, then you may need to start slow. When we started the year, we told people we wanted them to work their way up to be able to fast for one 24-hour period once a week, right? So wherever you found yourself, the goal was to begin moving in the direction. So if you were sleeping 8 hours and you ate as soon as you woke up, then your fasting started at 8 hours. So now the task was to extend that. So instead of sleeping for 8 hours and eating right away, you wake up in the morning and maybe you add 2 hours. So now you're at 10. And once you got to 10, then you move to 12. And you move from 12, you move to 14, and so forth until you're able to get to 24 hours. So where are you? And does the fasting method you're choosing fit into your schedule? Right? So there's intermittent fasting, as we mentioned before, 16 and 8. There's alternate day fasting, 1 meal a day, extended fasting, time restricted fasting, where you're fasting based on your circadian rhythm, right? So we did shows on all of those. If you've not seen those, go back and make sure you watch those to begin to get an idea of the fasting methods that you can use and begin trying to figure out which one will fit into your schedule. And then gradually adjust your diet, right? Gradually adjust your diet. If you're new to fasting and you are planning to do an extended fast, then you want to gradually do it. Just as I mentioned before, the goal when we first started, one of our challenges was to begin working and extending the fast or extending your ability to fast so that you got to 24 hours once a week. Now, several of our community members, even some of you who are watching right now, several of our community members got to 24 and did longer fasts. So, 48 or 36, 48, 72 hours, 96 hours. One day here on the show, or 1 week, we actually did a 100+ hour fast. Right? So you want to begin adjusting your diet. So if you're planning to do it, if you're planning to fast, you want to do that gradually, right? Begin to reduce the size and frequency of meals. So don't just go from one day eating a huge, 4, 5, 6, 7 course meal, and then you're trying to fast the next day if you've never done that, okay? Right? So reduce the carbohydrates. As we've mentioned before, carbohydrates are the place where we find a big issue, right? So you want to lower your carbohydrates, because if you don't do that and you come right out of a huge carb focused meal process or plan, that's what you normally eat. When you get into the fast, those carbs that were there, that taste, the spike that you had in blood sugar before, the insulin that came out, all of that may make it difficult for you to fast, because it will pull you, right? It'll be a trigger. You'll still have that taste, okay? And you want to do that. You want to reduce it a few days before you get to the fast, so to get your body ready for that transition that's going to be doing. And if you're minimizing the amount of carbs that you're eating, your body can switch, potentially will switch into fat burning a lot sooner. Okay. So you want to also increase your healthy fats, right? Because incorporating healthy fats the days before will help you to feel more satiated, because you'll have that in the system, right? So things like avocado or seeds or nuts or olive oil, okay? You want to make sure you're doing that. And then you want to make sure that you are hydrated. Drink plenty of water as you are preparing to get into the fast, those days coming up to the fast. Now, we went on a camping trip recently, and I was telling all the people to make sure that they were, as we're getting ready to go on the trip, that they were increasing their fiber, increasing their water intake, right? So all those same things work here. Okay? You want to avoid processed foods as you're moving into the days right before the fast, because you want to eliminate the processed foods, which can cause cravings. One of the things that we see with people who drink or eat artificially sweetened foods is that their appetite is stimulated. Right? My wife can tell when I've been drinking artificially sweetened soda or tea, which I use a lot actually during my fasting period, because I am in the refrigerator. And I find sometimes that the cravings are big. The cravings are there. And if I'm not careful, then just drinking that or eating that particular thing right before, as I get into the fast, it takes me a while for that to get out of my system. Okay? So you want to make sure that you're gradually adjusting your diet as you're moving closer to the fast. Next, you want to plan your fasting schedule. This one is so huge, right? So if people often don't succeed with fasting, not because fasting doesn't work, but because the fasting method they chose is not the right one in terms of how it works, and then they don't or they don't try to put the fast around into their life. Okay? So planning your fasting schedule in advance can help you stay on track, and it helps you avoid the temptations. So decide when you're going to start the fast, decide when you're going to end the fast, and make adjustments to your day, make adjustments to your other schedule if you need to do that so that you can be successful. But don't also plan a fast during a time that you know that there are other things going on. For example, if you're doing intermittent fasting and your family sits down and eats supper at 5 o'clock, don't plan to start a fast at 4 o'clock, because you're automatically setting up conflict. And our brains our brain does not like conflict. It will default to no conflict. So either you're going to break the fast because it's causing issues with you and your family, or and you're going to feel guilty because you broke the fast when you said you were going to fast, or you're going to stick to the fast and remove yourself from community. And that also causes some dissonance in the brain. Okay? So choose a fasting plan that works, and then also go ahead and make sure that you're adjusting your schedule. So choose a convenient start time. Start your fast at a time when you're not likely to be triggered by food. So don't pick a fast time at lunch when everybody now is moving and going to lunch. Don't start fast at lunch. Okay? I like to start my fast actually in the evening, right? So consider your daily activities. Avoid scheduling intense physical activity at the time when you're starting the fast. Plan for sleep, because if you're not well rested, then that can cause issues as well. So you want to think of your entire schedule, think of your plan, and how does the fast fit into that, particularly the type of fast that you're going to be doing. Alternate day, intermittent, and so forth. And we've gone through those already, right? So plan your schedule. I like to start my fast at night because by the time I wake up in the morning, I've already slept for 7 to 8 hours, and my fast, that's enough time that's gone. Right? Some people like to start in the morning. I don't start in the morning because if I start in the morning all day, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I've got that whole day to go. Yeah. Next thing you want to do is you want to prepare your environment. And this is a big one because, as we've mentioned before, the things that push us to eat have to do with either habits, emotions, access, and taste. And that access has to do with our environment. If you remember, several weeks ago, we did a show where we talked about cleaning up your home, cleaning up your job, and cleaning up the community in terms of the environment and what things are around. I don't bring cashews, I don't bring almonds into my house anymore. I was actually at the grocery store tonight before I got home here to start this stream, and I walked down the aisle and I picked up a can of cashews, and I looked at it, I turned it around, I looked to see how many carbs there were, I looked to see how many calories there were, and I would put it in the cart, I took it out of the cart, I put it back, because I know if it comes in, guess what? I'm eating it. I'm eating the whole thing. So you have to be aware of yourself, and you want to set your environment up for success to make your fasting experience more achievable and maintainable, right? That includes preparing your loved ones, preparing your home, preparing your workspace, preparing your, right? So all of the places that we've talked about. It also includes telling the people around you what's going on, okay? So remove temptations. Clear your home from snacks or foods that you know that are going to be triggers. If there's something that you know that this is your favorite thing, don't have a lot of it around the house when you're trying to fast. Inform family and colleagues. Let them know what's going on, right? Now, you don't have to become a big martyr, oh, I'm fasting, right? So just let the people in your community know, those ones that are close to you, hey, I'm fasting. And so that way they don't plan things that will interrupt or disrupt your fast. And then they can be a support system, right? And create a relaxing space. Set your space up so that if you have a favorite chair, make sure that the environment is clean and clear and not cluttered. And sometimes when things are not clear and cluttered or not clean, and the space is cluttered, our brain goes into this turmoil, and that begins to create angst, and that angst creates the cortisol, and that angst creates the environment for us to now get triggered, right? Remember, habits, emotions, access, and taste. And if you do that, that will help you stay on track. And then focus on mental preparation. As I mentioned before during our check-in, that fasting is not just the abstention from food. It also involves mental and emotional issues, right? So fasting is as much a mental challenge as it is a physical challenge and emotional challenge. So preparing your mind for the experience can help you stay on track and help you to be more successful. So set your intentions. Clearly define, clearly state, just as in the first point that we made, what is the fasting for? And what are you hoping to achieve? Write it down so that if you are tempted, if you are having a difficult time, you can look at it and see what the reason was. Because sometimes in the middle of it, when you get that craving, when you get, when you have that feeling of depression or anxiety or whatever, and it's pushing you to break the fast, then it's hard at that time to think. But if you have it written down, you can look at it and say, okay, this is the reason I'm doing that. Right? It's kind of like here on the wall I've mentioned before. Let's see, where is it? Oop, not that one. So right up here, this is a commitment statement that I made, right? Several years ago now, that I was going to be in this space. I was going to show up in this space. And so there are times when I'm tired, I'm things have gone on, and anyway, so you understand. But I can see that, and every time I walk into this room, it's right there on the wall. I come in the door right there, and it's right there on the wall. It reminds me of why I'm doing it. Same thing for fasting. Why are you doing it? So write it down, and it helps you to stick to it, right? So practice mindfulness. Mindfulness has to do with being emotionally intelligent. So emotional intelligence is understanding your feelings, understanding the feelings of people around you, and using that for your benefit. So engage in mindfulness. You've got to understand the reason why you're being pushed for a particular thing. But if you're mindful, if you begin working on understanding yourself, knowing yourself, then that makes the process of fasting simpler. I was going to say easy, not easy, but makes it simpler. Because now you know some of the things that can trigger you, and you can deal with those. They're in your mind, and you have contingencies for them. And that's the thing about mindfulness. So once you begin learning what things are the issues for you, then you begin putting things in place. And remember, we're talking about how do we prepare for the fast. So this is not even during the fast, right? This is leading up to the fast. What are the things I need to be doing and thinking about as I'm moving towards the fast? And then visualize success. Right? Visualize success. We're talking about mental preparation. Visualize the success. Visualize you finishing the fast. Right? See it. See that it's going to be successful. Focus on the benefits that you're going to get. See what those are. Understand what happens when we were doing our coaching, and as I'm talking to clients, one of the things I ask them to do is I want you to visualize what happens if you don't do this. Number one. And then what happens if you do it? What is the success? What does it feel like if I do get through this? Right? So begin working on mindfulness. Once again, we're talking about how do we prepare for the fast. And then gather nutritional support. Gather nutritional support. So while fasting, it's essential to maintain your electrolyte balance and to support your body with necessary nutrients. So you may have to do, and I have some over here. I'm not going to get up and do it to show you, but I have some electrolyte packets that I have there. Okay, so you may need to do that. Consider using an electrolyte supplement to prevent dehydration. Right, so begin using it prior to the fast, and you may even need to use that during the fast. especially for some of the longer fasts, right? Use herbal teas. So stock up on herbal teas like peppermint and ginger and chamomile, right? So those are good ones. They can help to soothe your stomach and to help curb your hunger. And then for longer fasts, have some bone broth around. Okay, so we end our fast with bone broth. You can do that. It also provides electrolytes. All right, so this is kind of at the end of the fast, but you can begin using that at the beginning as well because it helps you with electrolytes. And then know how to break the fast. This is the one. This is so important, right? Because your success in what you want to do is not just in the fast itself, but it also is in the preparation and going through the fast. So how are you going to break the fast? Have an idea. Have an idea of what you're going to do. What are you going to eat? What are the things that you're going to bring into your space? Right? And I'm going to show you here in just a little while what I'm eating tonight for my supper. But this what I'm eating now can also be something you'd use to break the fast. Remember, with the fast, you're going to start with something simple and then move into more complicated foods. Okay. And if you plan your post-fast meal, if you plan it carefully, you can avoid some digestive discomfort, and you can maximize the potential benefits that you're getting from fasting, right? So start small. Begin with a small, easily digestible meal, such as bone broth. That's why I mentioned bone broth. A light salad, steamed vegetables, right? Avoid sugary foods, right? Because once you start eating the sugary foods, the blood sugar spikes up. Blood sugar spikes, insulin comes out, and insulin stimulates appetite. Right? So you want to refrain from consuming highly processed, high sugar foods immediately after a fast. This prevents the blood sugar spikes. Incorporate healthy fats and protein. These will help you feel fuller, right? Even as you're coming out of the fast. And if you do that, that can help you maintain some of the ketosis that you will have if you're doing the fast. Because remember, ketosis is where the body is using an alternate source of energy and is burning fat now to be able to convert to ketones so that you can function. And that helps with weight loss. Yeah. So know how you're going to break the fast. And then listen to your body. Listen to your body. This is so important. Throughout the fasting process, it is crucial that you are listening to your body and being aware of how you're feeling, both all mentally, physically, mentally, and emotionally. If you experience severe discomfort, dizziness, weakness, it may be necessary to break the fast, and there's no shame in doing that. You can always pick the fast up later. So don't just plow through because say I'm fasting and come hell or high water, I'm doing this. No, that's not what we want. We want you to fast and we want you to be safe as you're fasting. So listen to your body. Stay hydrated, right? Continuously monitor your hydration level, your status. You may, sometimes you pinch the skin, and if it tense, what's tenting? When you pinch it and it takes a while for it to kind of go back flat, that means you're dehydrated. Yeah. Be mindful of hunger signals. Understand the difference between hunger and cravings. Understand the difference between hunger and cravings. If you are someone who doesn't have a lot of body fat, if you're someone who does a great job of diets or your meals on your non-fasting day, you may actually be hungry during the fast. And it may be a legitimate need for nutrition. So go ahead and make sure you end the fast and say, okay, I'm going to do this and then I'll get back to the fast. But understand the difference between hunger and cravings. On our website, we did a blog where we talked about the difference between hunger and appetite. And know when to stop. If you feel unwell, it may be necessary to stop. If you feel excessively fatigued, and I'm not talking about just fatigue where you're doing the transition between burning carbs and burning ketones, right? I'm talking about significantly fatigued. Maybe you didn't sleep well for the last 2-3 days. Maybe you caught a cold. Maybe you have an infection. Maybe something else is going on. But don't just plow through. Make sure that you are spending time listening to yourself, because the body is an amazing place, an amazing tool, amazing machine if we do it well. So preparing for the fast is about more than just abstaining for food. It involves careful planning, mental preparation, and listening to your body. So by following the guidelines, by following the things that we just talked about, you can set yourself up. You can ensure that you are being successful, and you can ensure that you are going to be able to execute and get through the fasting experience successfully. Because if you don't do well, not only does that hinder this fast, but it sets you up for poor fasting in the future, because your brain, your body is going to remember what it was like this time. Remember that fasting is a personal journey, and what works for one person may not work for the other, particularly as it relates to the type of fast and as it relates to your schedule, right? Because your schedule is not like anybody else's. Start slowly. Find the right fasting method. Understand why you're doing it, and enjoy the benefits of fasting. Enjoy the benefits to your health. Enjoy the wellness that comes from the fast. Remember what we're doing. We're talking about using fasting as a tool for reversing diabetes. So, one, understand why you're doing it. Understand what the reason is. Okay? Choose the right fasting method. Gradually adjust your diet. Plan your fasting schedule. Prepare your environment. Focus on mental preparation. Gather nutritional support. Know how to break your fast. And then listen to your body. Right? So that is how you prepare for the fast. And if you follow this, then you set yourself up for tremendous, tremendous success. All right. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at what my report is saying. So there's my meter. We're going to look at the report that's down there at the bottom. So let's hop over and let's take a look at this one. Okay, and so you'll see on the screen, that is my Dexcom report. This is for the last 14 days. And you see my average blood sugar there is 142. I usually tell people I want their average to be between 100 and 120. If we look at my 90-day average, you'll see that that is probably about 118, so right where we want it. I am in target 89% of the time. I usually tell people that I want it to be 79, so we're there. The target range for this is 70 to 180. And according to this, if I got an A1C right now, then my A1C would be 6.1. Okay, so those are all good numbers for 90 days. Now, what I need to be careful of is, let's go back here and let's look at the last 30 days. All right, so 134. So the last 30 days is creeping up. If you remember, this is June. Starting June, we had birthday, we had anniversary. We just came back from a camping trip. So all those things have impacted what the blood sugars are. Now, let me pause there, because this is a great point to make for everybody. So I was telling someone in the office today that life happens to all of us. And so I don't want you to beat yourself over the head because you went on a trip, that you went on vacation, and you, quote unquote, got off of your eating plan, right? I want you to plan getting off of the eating plan into your trip, okay? So when I went away on the camping trip let's go back even to anniversary. So I knew that we were going away for anniversary and for my son's birthday. So I changed my fasting window so that I fasted days, right? So I knew I was doing a 72-hour fast. And so we were leaving on Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was when we were gone, and I think Monday as well. And so what I did was I shifted my fasting window because I normally fast Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That was going to interfere with the trip. So I shifted it to Sunday, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I still got my 72 hours in, but then I said, hey, I'm going on this trip. And during the trip, I'm going to eat, quote unquote, a normal meal. I'm going to be normal, right? And during that process, we ate, and you saw the result of those blood sugars. So go back and watch that show. Okay, but I want to remind you that fasting during the fasting process, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have times where blood sugars are going up, right? You just now have to say, okay, what do I do to get back on track? So I just came back from the trip on the camping trip, and during that we had blood sugars that were much higher, and so I used my tool, right? So 76 hours of fasting, right? To begin reversing that and to get back where I need to be. All right. And anyway, so those are the numbers. Let's go ahead and look at our daily graph. And we'll see there just a minute. And so, so we started our fast right here. Okay, so 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, and so we ended that fast like 76 hours, so over here somewhere. And you see here as I started eating, so you see that, so we're in the 70s, 80s, and then the blood sugar starts rising, right? So into the 90s, and then of course, here the next morning, which was today. So we rose, we went up, and this is the Dexcom. And let's see, the highest we got up was 174, and we kind of stayed there. Now, so this, and let me, let's see, let's go ahead, and I want to show you. I want to show you the salad. Let's do it this way. So this is the salad that I ate. Okay, so you'll see, you'll see the cheese, cucumbers. You'll see the lettuce in there. You'll see eggs. So and cheese, and then these are pine nuts, right? That you see there. So this is what I ate, and notice that my blood sugar in the morning, so right about here I ate this. Oh, you can't see. Let me go back to that screen. So right about here I ate those sausages, and my blood sugar was down 120s, 130s, and I ate sausage, and look at that, it went up to 170. So I'm gonna look back and see what were in those sausage links. Okay, and then the blood sugar kind of stayed there. And then during lunch, when I ate the salad, I want you to notice that the salad did not do any more than what was already going on with the sausage, right? So in other words, there wasn't a big spike based on the salad. And in fact, as we moved through the rest of the day, the blood sugar started coming down and down and down and down and down. And right now, let's go back to the Dexcom. Right now, the Dexcom is saying 141, okay? Which is why I'm going to eat what I'm going to eat here in just a little while to end this fast, okay? But those are the numbers. And so let's take a look and see what my ketones are, all right? Because that's one that I want to see. And remember, I am now I've been eating this day. So I'm not fasting, but my ketones, I think when we looked at it last night, let's go ahead and pull that up. So my ketones were 2.2. My blood sugar was 58 at the time. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this monitor on, and then we'll get this synced, and we should see that. Okay, it says syncing. All right, So 124 is what the Keto Mojo says my blood sugar is, and then you see my ketones there are 0.2. So remember, less than 0.5 considered normal, 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis, and then above 1.5 is considered therapeutic ketosis. Okay, and if we look at the graph, the turquoise line, those are ketones, and the tan line, that is the blood sugar. So as I ate last night, so we were 2.2, as I ate last night, the ketones began dropping and the blood sugar went up. The blood sugar goes up and insulin comes out. And remember, insulin cannot coexist with ketones. So as insulin comes out, ketones are going to go away. Right? And so which is one of the reasons I talk about when you are breaking the fast, you don't want to eat highly processed, high carb, highly sugared foods, because if you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to get a big spike in blood sugar, and when you get a spike in blood sugar, your body has to produce insulin. Okay? And when it produces insulin, not only does it stimulate the appetite, which is the thing we don't want, but it also causes weight gain. Right? So we kind of undermine and undo some of the things that we do during the fasting period. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to pull over. I got a plate right here so you can see some of what I'm going to eat. And let's see, how do I show that to you? Let's do this one. Okay, there we go. So I've got 2 pieces of baked chicken, and then I've got with some hot sauce on it, by the way. And then I've got a couple of pieces of sharp cheddar cheese, and I love it. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a bite out of that right now. So I'm gonna start here with let's see, let's do this one. Start with some cheese. And remember, the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm trying to maintain as much low carb as possible. Now, the cheese that I'm eating, this sharp cheddar, I think the pack that I had, that I bought, has 1 gram per serving. A serving is a slice, and there are 8 slices, I think. So if I ate the entire packet, I would get 8 grams of carbs. Each slice is 110 calories. So if I ate all of it, then I'd get 880 calories, right? So you can kind of decide what you want to do there. And you'll hear different people tell you different things about how to evaluate foods in terms of carbs. There are some people that would say that you should only eat foods that have less than 15 carbs. Some people will say eat foods that are less than 5 carbs. In terms of a ketogenic diet. When we are fasting, by virtue of fasting, particularly if we're doing extended fast, we're going to go into ketosis. And that's one of the beauty of fasting. You don't have to worry about what to eat to be in ketosis, because you're going to be in ketosis because you're not eating. You're not eating anything. So you don't have to worry about which foods you should eat or which foods are not going to put you in ketosis. Fasting takes away all of that information, or takes away all of that concern. Okay, so cheese, oh, that's so good. And then let's see, let's get a piece of this chicken. Now, yeah, it's a little dry. One has been sitting there while I did the show. But it's still good. Still so good. Delicious. And so when you are trying to do a ketogenic diet, this would be perfect. This would be great, right? Because the only carbs that I have there are from the cheese. And then, of course, it depends on how you prepare your, for instance, if you're doing meat, chicken, or meat, depends on how you do it. If you bread it and fry it, then guess what? Carbs go up. But in this case, there's no breading. Mm-mm-mm. Now, one of the things that I've been using, and I do that because, as I said before, I love nuts. So I've actually been using peanut butter, right? Because peanut butter has a lot of protein. The issue, of course, is that depending on the peanut butter you get, there can be a lot of sugar in it. So the one that we have, actually I have 4 different versions that I'm trying. So I'm trying to see what it does to my blood sugar. So I think each of the ones that we have has between 7 to 8 grams of carbs per serving. And of course I need to go back and see, excuse me, what the, go back and see, not the sugar, but the calories. One thing that I wanted to show you is for the salad that I had, the dressing that I have is this dressing here at the top. And this is the Yuka app, if you remember. The Yuka app gives you a breakdown of things that are in it. So calories, additives, saturated fat, sodium, you'll see that there. It is gluten-free. And sugar, so 1 gram of sugar per serving. Okay. So that's what I wanted to see there. And once again, this is the Yuka app that we've done before. All right. So remember, for you as you're watching, and I want to say to you that you have unlimited potential for making change, for making improvement in your health. You can do that. We do that by educating, empowering, and encouraging. What we do here on the channel. We educate with the shows and the blogs and the podcasts. We encourage, or we empower with the tools that we learn, and we encourage with all of the community that you are a part of. So make sure that you are taking advantage of that. Remember the things that will push you in your direction to get off of your meal plan: the HEAT model, habits, emotions, access, and taste. The call to action is join the challenges. Don't just let the videos happen and they go on the shelf, but join the challenge. Every month we have a new challenge. Join them, get involved. They are your way of implementing the things that we're learning so that you can set yourself up for success. Tell your story. So when you show up, right, tell your story. Say, hey, I'm here. I'm fasting. I'm successful. I'm having improvement in my blood sugar, improvement in my weight, improvement in my A1C, improvement in my blood pressure and my cholesterol. Because when we see that, we know that we can do it because you're doing it. When you have challenges, we can rally around you as the community does, and you know that you're not alone, and we know that we can be helpful and successful in supporting you. And then invite someone. Be a voice for change in your community. There are over 1 billion people with diabetes or pre-diabetes. You can be a voice for change. And then remember our pillars for reversing diabetes. That is decrease insulin, suppress appetite, and then reduce sugar. Reduce sugar. Fasting is a tool. That's the amazing tool that we've been using one of the tools that we've been using to help us reverse our diabetes. And tonight we talked about how to prepare for the fast. As I always say, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. We're going to be starting our stream here in just a little while, our anniversary stream that goes for 24 hours. Make sure you get in there, comment, and get involved with the show. Come back for our check-in tomorrow, and then on Sunday this week in review. Glad that you're here. We educate, we empower, and we encourage you to take charge of your health and your life and go to the next level. Good night, everybody. We'll see you here in a little while as we start our stream. Bye-bye.